Hello, traders. It's 8:02 a.m. Chicago time on Thursday, the 13th of August, 2020. This is episode number 18181818. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Coming into today's session, we're seeing risk-off sentiment so far. By the way, I hope you're hearing me loud and clear. I'm actually starting from home today. Um, and we'll be transitioning to the office sometime in the late morning. Coming into today, we do have risk off markets, not risk off all that much. I mean, the NASDAQ is up 61.75 points while everything else is down, except for the cable, the euro. The NASDAQ is up 0.57%, turning north or turning higher from about 5 a.m. Chicago time, while everything else is lagging. The Euro Stoxx 50 down 24 points or 0.71%. DAX down 0.7%. Gold is off $7.90, trading at $19.41 or 0.4%. And so it goes. The Bund is off. The bonds are up a tick. The 10-year note is up 2 ticks, one big tick, two small ticks. And so it's a bit of a mixed bag. The overnight session shows little volume and completely sideways consolidation so far in the S&P 500. We'll go over that in a minute. In terms of what's on the calendar, quite a few numbers came out across the globe, but nothing really major. The jobless claims came in much better at 963,000 in the last week versus 1.15 million. And then import prices came in worse. Came in worse. Export prices came in worse. And that's where we stand. The remainder of the day has the 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. And the Chinese house price index at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Fixed asset investment year on year at 10 p.m. Industrial production and retail sales, as well as unemployment rate, all out of China at 10 p.m. this evening. So let's hop right into the review segment. I want to keep this as short as possible. I know I keep saying that and failing to do so. Yesterday we were opening just under that key 55 area from Tuesday, and I had talked about the idea that if it does not, if it holds that 55 area, primarily we're looking for some responsive selling towards the prior day's close, the prior session's close, and which was lower down at 33.37, and then was looking for an impulse up right there, an impulse up and a pretty much a drive to through the overnight high. Was looking for it to take out the high of the sell-off day on Tuesday at 33.74.75, and then come back, rebalance, and hold sideways. It would be new all-time highs. So we're expecting some rotation back into the middle. Okay, and so that's what we were expecting: test down, push up, an impulse up, a drive up, basically a squeeze up, takes out the high day on Tuesday, taking back all the entire sell-off, and then holding sideways into the end of the session. Here's how things played out. We open up. There was no responsive selling at all. This is an early indication that something is up. There was no responsive selling at all. It basically held the opening price. The opening price is right down here at 33.53.75. The initial bounce low was just a tick lower Then the opening swing low is just a tick lower than the open, and then we started to make these higher and higher rotations with 4 point to 5 point pullbacks. As soon as you recognize that, you're basically looking for a 4 to 5 point pullback and looking to get long um, for the high rotations. It's really obvious that's what this indicator is useful for. 7 up, 4.5 down, 6.25 up, 5 down, 8.25 up, 4 down, and so on and so forth, as these rotations kind of show us that pretty much the entire session, the up rotations were dominant. So it does the drive. There's really no impulse. It just does this kind of steady, short squeeze drive and takes out the 74.75, which is what is expected. So first we expect a test of the prior day's point of control. The prior day's point of control right up here at 69.50, and then we're as soon as that holds, we're looking for a test of the high, and then it came back in as I expected, came back in on the close and held sideways and basically closed on top of the prior day's point of control. It shifted the point of control a little bit higher. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of the way this shows up. Let me adjust it. No, that's not the one. We're looking for this one. I'm going to just adjust the color of the point of control. Let's make it nice and bright. So this kind of purple-ish color is the point of control. And you can see the point of control is in line with the prior day's value area and just slightly higher than the day before. So we're accepting value higher. The market had broken the one-time framing up on Tuesday and has resumed it today. So that's where we stand this morning. As we come in, the market has been weak since the reopen, has been sitting sideways. This is what the reopen looks like. This is a 30-minute all sessions chart. Again, the blue profile is RTH only. The orange profile is a full session, and at this juncture, at this point in the morning, the orange profile is simply representing Globex. The volume is very low. It is very, very low. It's relatively low compared to the prior sessions, and it has basically opened up right here, tested down, tested up, tested down wider, tested up, tested down wider, and then tested up wider, and then consolidated, and now testing higher wider as the NASDAQ squeezes and makes new highs. The NASDAQ showing a lot of strength this morning and is pushing higher while the S&P is in this very, very tight value range between 66 and 70. That's really, really tight. So we're coiling on low volume in the overnight session, expecting a choppy open and expecting that it's, unless the NASDAQ really continues to push through, expecting the S&P to most likely start to shift its attention to the downside as we have made new all-time highs and have really pulled back. We had nothing in us despite the trend up day. There was no attempt to test this high on the way up. Here's the NASDAQ 30-minute full session. We turn off the stock zone just to cut back on the noise. If these charts look confusing to you, they're relatively simple, but I do highlight key areas on there. Again, the shaded area is RTH, the darker area is RTH, and the lighter area is Globex. So you can see the Nasdaq's been in the same kind of sideways trade as the S&P, but at about 5 a.m. Central Time or so, it started to climb up and is much, much stronger, relatively much stronger than the S&P, and has taken out this high. The Nasdaq still has an all-time high up above at 11,283. So the Nasdaq's been weaker over the last several days, really, than the S&P. The Nasdaq's not been able to push higher on when was it Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday was definitely a lot weaker and was a drag on the other sectors, but overall it is showing some strength here, and it's likely to continue to do so into the session. So here's the thing, I showed the other day, I posted an image to show this tight correlation, relatively stable spread, ratio spread, and tight correlation with the NQ, between the NQ and the Fangman stocks, which make up a huge portion of what the NQ is. But those Fangman stocks also make a huge portion of what the S&P is. So I'm paying, although the influence of the Fangman stocks are very much more are much more pronounced in the NQ than they are in the S&P. The S&P is a 500 stock index. The Nasdaq's only 100, and these seven are really the bulk of it. Knowing this, we have to pay attention to what those underlying equities are doing. So if the Nasdaq starts to roll over, I'm really expecting the S&P to work through and work its way down and tackle yesterday's low and so on, and really have a hard time continuing. Again, new all-time highs. The One of the things I wanted to observe here, as the S&P pushed higher yesterday. Well, let me draw that a little bit better, like that. And broke this trend line later in the session, really the delta wasn't all that interested. So if I squish this up to show you what the delta was like, overall, as we made this high here, the delta was already selling, and you can see this wider rotation went right to the mid. Let me turn off these stock zones. Went right to the mid of the RTH session and bounced right off of it. But it didn't, that bounce made a higher high. The delta could not push higher. Next, it made an even higher high. Here we did as well compared to the last high, but by the time the close came around, really sellers were predominant. This has been kind of typical behavior with the S&P pushing highs. It's been doing this quite steadily. Hang on, 75%. It's been doing it quite steadily. So what are we looking for today? Actually, I wanted to show you Bookmap for a minute because we are seeing some well-defined areas here today. Let me show you that for a minute. So this is CT Bookmap. You can find it at ctbookmap.pro. You can see there's a little bit of a base here, pretty steady, holding at 3360 throughout the session, pretty much sideways session. And then we just attempted to tackle this liquidity that's been sitting up here since the high from this morning. Not trusting the offers up here, but still this liquidity is we saw some pretty good lifting going on this bar on the way up. There are a lot of these blue dots. You can see there's a lot of positive delta there, but then it just gets to that level and backs off and comes right back into and towards the overnight point of control at 67.75, but above there's some liquidity at the 80. But the point I'm making here is it's really non-committal up here all the way up to 86.5. I'm seeing there's pretty decent size in this 89.50, 86.50 area, but other than that, the liquidity in the book is really non-committal today. It's not providing us with a good indication of what the market's intent is or what the player's intent is in terms of how they're positioning for liquidity. The skew is to the upside a little bit based on the order flow and the liquidity, um, but overall, I'm expecting the market to fail to continue higher as it comes into today. So, looking at what we are expecting for today, expecting a calmer trade today, expecting some balance, some chop. It's already accomplished its purpose short term. It's already taken out the 80 yesterday. This morning, I'm expecting quite a choppy open. I'm looking for it to try to squeeze higher into the 75 area, 74, 75 area. I'm looking for it to fail, and I'm looking for it to roll over a little bit and come into the 62 push. I overdrew this. It's the 62s up here. Push the 62 area, come back up and hold steady, and basically have this 65, 67 area be a magnet for the day. Really not unless something comes out and drives this thing, not expecting very much not expecting very much commitment from the traders this morning. The secondary is an open auction that tests down, takes out the overnight low, squeezes down into the 62 area, impulses up, tests the other side, takes out the 75, starts working its way to value high from yesterday at 79.80, and then consolidates at only to run higher into the afternoon towards the 85, 89 area. That's the secondary scenario. But just my point being, today, temper your expectations, please. Just kind of be patient, be selective. Wait for your best setups type of market. That's what I'm looking for today. Expecting it to be a relatively boring day. In fact, I'm not trading at all today because I didn't sleep last night. My 2-year-old daughter was spent the night just complaining and crying all night for no clear reason. So I'm not in a state to trade. That's why I'm starting from home today. Anyway, I'll catch you soon, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, or to simply click on the link I'm putting in the live chat and subscribe to the channel. Do not click on it if you're already subscribed. It'll tell you. But if you subscribe, I intended to post the Edge Wisdom segment yesterday from, when was it? Tuesday. Just didn't get around to it. I'll do that this morning. Good luck, and I'll catch you later. Take care.